October 25th. Jill came back to our place afterwards last night and helped to straighten things. Grey Malk and I slipped out while they were drinking another sherry and headed over to the vicarage. The study was illuminated and Tikla was perched on the roof beside the chimney. "Snuff, I'm gonna get that bird," Grey Malk said. "I don't know if that's good form, Grey, doing something like that right now. I don't care." She disappeared. I waited and watched for a long while, and suddenly there was a flurry on the roof. There came a rattle of claws, a burst of feathers, and Tikla took off through the night, cawing obscenities. "Nice try," I said. "No, it wasn't. I was clumsy. She was fast." Ugh. We headed back. Maybe you gave her a few nightmares anyway. "That'd be nice." Growling moon, angry cat, feather on the wind. Autumn comes and the grass dies. The morning dealt us a hand which last night's small ironing was seen and raised. Grey Malk came scratching on the door when I went out, and she said, "Better come with me." So I did. "What's it about?" I asked. "The constable and his assistants are at Owen's place investigating last night's burnings." "Well, thanks for getting me. Let's go and watch. This should be fun." "Maybe." When we got there, I understood the intimation of her word. The constable and his men paced and measured and poked. The remains of the baskets and the remains which had been in the baskets were now on the ground. There were, however, the remains of 4 baskets and their contents rather than just 3. "Uh-oh," I said. "Indeed, I considered the inhuman remains of the 3, and the very human remains of the 4th. "Who?" I asked. "Owen himself. Someone stuffed him into one of his baskets and torched it." I mean, a brilliant idea, even if it was plagiarized. "Go ahead and mock," said a voice from overhead. "He wasn't your master." "Sorry, cheater. I can't come up with a lot of sympathy, though, for a man who tried to poison me. He had his crochets, but he also had the best oak tree in town. An enormous number of acorns were ruined last night." "Did you see who got him?" "No. I was in Crosstown, visiting Nightwind." "What will you do now?" "Bury more nuts. It's going to be a long winter, and an outdoor one." "You could join McCabe and Morris," Grey Malk observed. "No, I think I'll follow Quicklime's example and call it quits. The game is getting very dangerous." "Do you know whoever did it, if they took Owen's golden sickle?" "It's not around here. Could still be inside, though." "You have a way in and out, don't you?" "Yes." "Did he have a special place he kept it?" "Yes." "Would you go inside and check and tell us whether or not it's still there?" "Why should I?" "There might be something you'd like from us one day. A few scraps. Chasing away a predator." I'd rather have something right now." "What's that?" I asked. He leapt, but instead of falling, he seemed to drift down and land beside us. "I didn't know you were a flying squirrel," Grey Malk said. "I'm not. That's part of it, though." "I don't understand," she told him. "I was a pretty dumb nut chaser until Owen found me. Most squirrels are. We know about what we have to do to stay in business, and that's about all. Not like you guys." "He made me smarter. He gave me special things I can do, too, like that glide. But I lost something for it. I want to trade all this in and go back to what I was. A happy nut chaser who doesn't care about opening and closing." "What's all involved?" I asked. "I gave up something for all this, and I want it back." "What?" "Look down at the ground around me. What do you see?" "Nothing special." "My shadow's gone. He took it. And he can't give it back now because he's dead." "It's a pretty cloudy day," Grey Malk said. "It's hard to tell. Believe me, I don't know." "I do," I said. It'd be a silly thing to go on about otherwise. What's so important about a shadow, though? Who cares? What good is it up to you anyway, jumping around in the trees, when you can't even see it most of the time? There's more to it than that, he explained. It's attached to other things that go away with it. I can't feel things the way I used to. I just used to know things. Where the best nuts were, what the weather was going to be like, when the ladies were, and when the time came, and how the seasons were changing. Now I think about it, I can figure those things out. I can make plans to take advantage of them. That's something I could never do before, but I've lost all those little feelings that came with that kind of knowing. And I've thought about it a lot. I miss them. I'd rather go back to that than think and soar the way I do. You understand about magic? Not many people do. I'll check on the sickle if you'll bring him to Owen's shadow spell for me. I glanced at Greymilk. I've never heard of that kind of spell, she said. Cheater, there are all kinds of magical systems. They're just shapes into which power is poured. We can't know them all. I've no idea what Owen did to your shadow, your intuition, I guess, and the feelings that go with it. Unless we had some idea where it is and how to go about returning it and restoring it to you, I'm afraid we can't be of any help. If you can get into the house, I can show you. Oh? What do you think, Gray? I'm curious, she told me. How do we go about it? Are there any open windows, unlocked doors? You couldn't fit through my opening. It's just a little hole up in the attic. The back door is usually unlocked, but it takes a human to open it. Maybe not, Greymilk said. We'll have to wait until the constable and his men are gone. Of course. We waited, hearing the puzzlement over the unnatural remains of the three repeated many times. The doctor came and looked and shook his head and took notes and departed after deciding there was only one human body, Owen's, and promising to file a report in the morning. Mrs. Enderby and her companion stopped by and chatted with the constable for a time, glancing at Greymilk and me almost as much as the remains. She left before too long, and the remains were sacked and labeled and hauled away in a cart, along with whatever remained of the baskets, which were also labeled. As the cart creaked away, Greymilk, Cheater, and I glanced up at the tree. Then Cheater flowed up, drifted to its top, and then over to the roof of the house. It'd be nice to be able to do that, Greymilk remarked. It would, I agreed, and we headed for the back door. I rose as before, clasping the knob tightly, and twisted. Almost. I tried again, a little harder, and it yielded. We entered. I shouldered the door nearly closed, withholding the final pressure that would have clicked it shut. We found ourselves in the kitchen. From overhead, I could hear the hurrying of someone small with claws. Cheater arrived shortly, glancing at the door. His workshop is downstairs. I'll show you the way. We followed him through a door of the kitchen and down a creaking stairway. Below, we immediately came into a large room that smelled of out-of-doors. Cut branches, baskets of leaves and roots, cartons of mistletoe, stacked haphazardly along the walls. Animal skins occupied several tables and were strewn over the room's 3 chairs. Diagrams were chalked in blue and green on both the ceiling and the floor, with one prominent red one covering up much of the far wall. A collection of ephemera and books in Gaelic and Latin filled a small bookcase beside the door. The sickle, I said. Cheater sprang up among a small table, landing amid the herbs. Turning, he leaned forward, hooked his claws, and jiggled a drawer. He began moving forward. Unlocked, he observed. Let's see now. He drew it further open so that, rising onto my hind legs, I could see into it. It was lined with blue velvet, which bore a sickle-shaped impression at its center. As you can see, it's gone. Any place else it might be? No, if it's not here, it was with him. Those are the only alternatives. I didn't see it anywhere out back, Greymilk said. Not on the ground or in that mess. Then I'd say someone took it, Cheater said. Odd, I said. It was a thing of power, but not really one of the game tools, not like the wands, the icon, the pentacle, or usually the ring. And someone just wanted it for power, I guess. Mostly, I think, though, they wanted Owen out of the game. Probably. I'm trying to link his death to Rastov's now. It'd be strange to consider the killer as one player, though, with Owen an opener and Rastov a closer. Cheater said, jumping down. I don't know. Maybe not. Rastov and Owen had some long talks recently. I get the impression from listening that Owen was trying to talk Rastov into switching. All of his liberal sympathies and his Russian sentiments could have been pushing him in a revolutionary direction. Really, Grey Malk said. Then if someone is killing openers, Jill could be in danger. Who else might have known of their talks? No one I can think of. I don't think Rastov even told Quicklime. I didn't tell anyone, not until now. Where did they talk? Upstairs, kitchen or parlor. Could anyone have been eavesdropping? Only someone small enough and mobile enough to manage the squirrel hole upstairs. I paced slowly. Are Morrison and McCabe openers or closers? I asked. I'm pretty sure they're openers, Grey Malk said. Yes, they are. What about the good doctor? No one knows. The divinations keep going askew for him. The secret player, I said, whoever it is. Do you really think there is one? Grey Malk asked. It's the only reason I can think of for my calculations to be so regularly off. How do we discover who it is? I don't know. And I don't care. Not anymore. Cheater said, I just want the simple life again. Forget all the plotting and figuring. I wasn't a volunteer. I got drafted! Get me my shadow! Where is it? Over there. He turned towards the big red design on the far wall. I looked in that direction, but couldn't tell what it was that he was trying to indicate. Sorry, I just don't see. There, he said, in the design. Low. To the right. Then I saw it. Something I'd thought simply an effect of the lighting. A squirrel-shaped shadow overlay a part of the design. Several upright, shining metal pieces were contained by the shadow's perimeter. That's it, I said. Yes, it's held there by 7 silver nails. How does one go about releasing it? I asked. The nails must be drawn. Is there a danger to the person who would draw them? I don't know. He never said. I reared up and extended a paw. I touched the topmost nail. It was somewhat loose. Nothing unusual happened to me, though, so I leaned forward and seized it with my teeth and withdrew it, dropping it to the floor. With my paw, I tested the remaining 6. 2 of them were obviously loose, and those I seized one after another. I pulled them out with my mouth. They gleamed on the floor, real silver, and Grey Malk inspected them. What did you feel, she asked, as you drew them? Nothing special. Do you see anything? No, I think the power's mainly in the design. If there's to be a reaction, look to the wall for it. I tested the remaining 4. Those were tighter in place than the ones I'd drawn. The shadow outline was now undulating among them. Have you felt anything special while I was about it, Cheater? Yes. I feel a small tingling in each place in my body that seems to correspond to my shadow form, where the nail was removed. Tell me if that changes. And I leaned forward, took hold of another nail, and worked it back and forth with my teeth. It took about a half a minute to loosen, and then I dropped it to the floor and tried the other 3 in succession. 2 seemed fairly tight. 1 was about the same that I'd just drawn. I took hold of the looser one and worried it until it, too, came loose. By then the shadow was shrinking and expanding regularly, as if it was flapping into the 3rd dimension of thickness, with parts of it becoming imperceptible to me this time. The tingling isn't going away, Cheater remarked. I'm beginning to feel it all over now. Is there any pain involved? No. I poked with my paw at the 2 remaining nails. Tight. Perhaps it'd be better to fetch Larry and a pair of pliers than to risk breaking my teeth. Still, it wouldn't hurt to try a bit first. I worried one for the better part of a minute, and it did seem to loosen. I stopped to rest my jaw, promising myself I'd have a go at both nails before I considered quitting. I gave the second one well over a minute of the same treatment, and found it hard to tell whether I'd let up or affected it much. I didn't like the taste of the plaster and the pigment used in the design. I wasn't sure what lay beyond it, holding those nails in place. Not enough of the covering had chipped away for me to distinguish the surface it covered, only enough to grit with a damp basement taste that came into my mouth. I stepped back. The design looked slobbered upon, and I wondered how dog spit would affect its subtle functions. "Please don't quit. Try again." "I'm just catching my breath," I told him. "I've been using my front teeth so far because it was easier. I'm going to switch to the side now." So I leaned again and took a grip with my back teeth, right side, upon the nail which seemed to have responded slightly to my persuasions. I had it moving, then loosening, and before too long I dropped it and listened. Silver makes a pleasant sound when it's struck. 6, I announced. "How does it feel now?" "More tingling," Cheater said. "Maybe some sort of anticipation." "It's the last chance to quit while you're ahead," I said. "Go ahead." So I caught hold and began to work it, slowly, with steady pressure rather than jerking movements. I feared for my teeth, but nothing cracked or chipped. As much as I liked the sound of silver, I did not like its cold metallic taste. All of this while the shadow itself flowed over my face intermittently, passing before my eyes like a quick cloud before the sun, wrapping me momentarily and then falling loose again. I felt the nail move. My jaws were beginning to ache, though, and I switched sides. I've cracked large bones with my teeth, and I know the power that's there. But this required more than simple biting ability. It was the movement that was important, involving my neck muscles as well as my jaws, forward, back, and the nail began to loosen, and I paused to rest. "What do we do when it's free?" I asked. "I mean, what's to prevent it from simply slipping away? Is there some special means of attaching it?" "I don't know. I never thought about that." "How was it separated from you in the first place?" Grey Malk asked. "He made a light and cast it there on the wall," Cheater said. "He drove in the nails and passed his sickle close to my body, somehow severing it. When I moved away, it remained. I felt different immediately." "It will respond to your life," Grey Malk said. "If you position yourself correctly, it flows over you, but your life must be exposed at the 7 points which held it. It'll respond to the nails which bound it." "What do you mean?" "Blood," she said. "You must scratch a wound on the back of each paw, one atop your head, one in the middle of the tail, one mid-back. The 7 places the shadow was pierced. When Snuff removes the final nail, he must take care not to simply draw it straight out, but to drag it downward, snagging the shadow, pulling it to cover you." I don't know which nail is which now." "I do. I've been watching." "This should serve to bind you again, once Snuff drags the shadow over you and drops its nail on your back at the place of the 7th wound." "Grey, how do you know this?" "I was given a small wisdom," she responded. "By the Hush! This place is not that place. Leave it there." "Sorry." She moved to position the nails, and Cheater scratched himself, paws, head, and tail. I could smell his blood. "I can't reach my back for the 7th, he said. Grey Malk's right paw slashed forward, opening a bright inch at the middle of his back. It came too fast for him to even flinch. "There," she said. "Position yourself upon the nails now as I have instructed." He moved and did so, sprawled motionless then. I returned to the final nail, taking hold and pulling it slowly. As soon as I felt it come loose, I dragged it down the wall and across the floor towards Cheater, never lifting it from contact with the surface from that entire time. I had no idea, though, whether the shadow was coming along with it, and I was in no position to ask. Still, if it weren't, I guess Grey Malk would have said something. "Lead it to him and drop it on his back at the place of my mark." I did that, stepping back immediately afterwards. "Do you know whether it's taken hold?" I asked Cheater. "I can't tell. Do you feel any different?" "I don't know." "What now, Grey? How long do we wait to see if it's attached?" "Give it a minute or two." "The design! It's changing!" I turned and I looked. There might have been a trace of movement to it as I did so, but it was gone by the time I faced it. It did look smaller, though, and a bit less extended to the left, and differently disposed to the right. The color seemed brighter. I think that means it's in place now. I want to move. He sprung up and raced across the floor, scattering the nails. He bounded halfway up the stairs, turned and looked back at us. It was too dim to see if he'd achieved the desired result. Come on! Let's go out! We followed him, and I opened the kitchen door without difficulty. As soon as I did, he rushed past us. The sun had come out, and as he flashed across the yard, we could see the shadow which accompanied him. Thanks, he said. Where are you headed? To the woods. Goodbye. Then he was off the wall and away.